And I'm absolutely delighted to be joined this afternoon by the Secretary of State for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy, Greg Clark. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. It's a privilege to be part of your programme.
And we've been talking about trust, and we've been talking about the civic principles that came as a consequence of the research that we've carried out. And my first question to you is, of those civic principles, which one would you select, and for what reason?
Well, it's a hard choice because they're all very live, very pertinent, and integrity, of course, is foundational. Many times in Mansion House, I've referred to the fact that I have on pride of place in the wall of my office an image of Mansion House, which I've always felt symbolises the confidence that the city and the corporation at its best has given. And important institutions like the stock exchange. My word is my bond. Very important. But I'm going to cheat and taking that as well as the value to society. And I think that is particularly important now, because I think we've gone through a time in which there's been, I think sometimes a lack of appreciation of how vital successful business is to a successful society. And I think having that principle, value to society, as one of your civic principles, I think has been very well chosen, very important.
Fantastic. And I presume within that too, the concept of communicating both the integrity and that value to society is a critical factor.
Absolutely, because we all depend on successful businesses, whether or not we work in them, whether it's the contribution to taxes, whether it's providing services, whether it's giving the chances that people have. That needs to be well understood, and I think we all have a duty, not least in my role, to remind people of just how foundational businesses are to a successful society.
That is a very clear message. That's probably a very neat segue into my second question, and I was explaining we've been debating and discussing the fact that our leaders of tomorrow themselves, a community of 80 strong, have come up with a series of sensible recommendations. And I was keen to understand, was there a particular recommendation off the Leaders of Tomorrow list menu, so to speak, that really resonates with you, and for what particular reason?
Yes, again, I think they're well chosen. And the particular one that I would point out is plan for tomorrow's challenges. Now, over the centuries, the city and the corporation have navigated changing currents and survived and prospered and contributed to our society. But the world is changing probably at a more rapid pace than ever. And so to think ahead about those challenges is something that engages me. I know it engages you, Lord Mayor, in your time. The industrial strategy, which we've talked about throughout your mayoral year, is about thinking about what are the challenges the British economy and the global economy will face, and how we can benefit from them. The move to artificial intelligence, the fact that people are living longer, the fact that we're having a move to clean energy. These are challenges that we need to prepare for, and I think having that as an action is very important in your plan.
My third question. Trust, as we can all respect, is a very complex agenda. There isn't a single light switch we can inflict from off to on. But if there had to be a single recommendation for helping to restore trustworthiness, build trust, that you would encourage the communities, the very broad range of community that you engage with, to focus on?
Communication. I mean, there is so much that is done by you and the corporation, by businesses in the city and across the country that is helping society, is contributing to society. And we shouldn't feel that we need to do things very different because we're not doing them adequately. I think a lot of what we do deserves greater attention and greater understanding. And so I think having a resolution to communicate the benefits and the investment in society that we make, I think is very important.
We are running the fifth, what we call City Giving Day, and endeavouring to shine a spotlight on some of the great activity, a lot of the great activity reflected through city business. So
Absolutely.
I shall take that message with me. My final question is a simple binary question. Our programme that we've been debating, the Business of Trust programme and the civic principles, can they help restore trust and trustworthiness?
I think not only can they, but I think your choice of them and your championing them throughout the mayoral year has been an extraordinary contribution to this mission that we have at this very important time. You've been rigorous and consistent right throughout your appearances. Many times we've been in the same company and audiences. And I think this has communicated itself, and I think you've laid down a foundation through these principles, every one of which I think is absolutely pertinent, that I hope your successors and us all can reinforce during the years ahead.
Secretary of State, thank you.
Thank you
very much, and thank you for engaging with the Business of Trust.
Great pleasure. Thank you so much.